Right, this meeting is being recorded. Got it. Okay. Hi, Neelu. I would like to introduce Neelu Shadri, the lady who brought the Nesara Gesara monies to our attention. Now, we now know this as Swissindo. So, hi, Neelu. Thank you for joining me today to discuss the Nesara Gesara monies and what we know now to be Swissindo. Could you please tell our viewers who you are and how you came about discovering this information?
Hi, Navelette. It's really nice for you to interview me about these issues. I'm very excited about the connection between Nesara, Gesara, and Swissindo. I came across all three terms about 11 years ago through ashtarontheroad.com, and I'd been searching for the divine connection with the angels, and they were channeling. So I had two teleconferences with Ashtar, and they were 1 hour each, and he connected me to my higher self, and it guided me spiritually with the Western world type of connection. But I already had a very strong spiritual connection with India before that. So it was interesting, a different concept of this, our divinity. It's all about our divinity, because Nesara was put out really as a divine law, but it was actually to do with the land grabbing by the corporation of the the United States from the farmers, right, who'd gone over there, who were judges. And when they tried to steal their lands, they won because they were judges. They knew that the corporation couldn't own the land. So National Economic Security and Reformation Act was in 2000 was due for inaction on the 11th of September 2001. But apparently they say that the documents got destroyed, and I don't know, I haven't seen the documents for Gesara. But apparently these were all secret meetings. And then Swissindo law, international law, was another secret meeting on the 14th of June 2010 at the United Nations headquarters in New York. So I knew about the other two before I knew about Swissindo, but there's differences. Swissindo comes with the actual gold, and it comes with the actual distribution of our prosperity. And these huge amounts of gold, which I've read about in the channeled messages as the gold of Saint Germain, but you can call it whatever you like. It's there. It's under the Indonesian islands. It's 17,000 islands, and it's been audited by the World Bank Group, and it is 70 billion kilograms of precious metals and 8 billion kilograms of gold. That's what it is.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for that. So, Neelu, I've been having people on my channel saying, well, there isn't 253 countries in the world. How did you come about those numbers?
Yeah, the reason why we can totally disregard the numbers is because Swissindo has been discredited on Wikipedia. If you go on Wikipedia, if you really want to learn on the internet, you go to the disinformation sites, you will be totally confused, and you'll never get it. And that's why it's never happened. Nesara never happened in 2001 because people didn't know about it and they didn't believe in it. And the masses need to be aware of it to believe in it. So the 253, for example, they have 25 parent countries, and Pakistan is in there. And I'm upset about that because Pakistan wasn't born until 1947. And these countries were allocated as parents in 1887. That's not possible. So there's a lot of kind of wheeling and dealing going on to try to keep this money stolen and to keep the people fooled. The 253 countries, if you look on the documents on swissindo.webs.com, I'll just show you the website, for example, right?
Okay.
So swissindo.webs.com has got so many documents here and so many Zooms and stuff. There's further down, there are these old documents, sorry, way down. If I can find them. I've gone past them. Gosh, how did I do that? Or maybe I've taken them off. I think I took them off and put the old website. Okay, let me just try the old website. I think I'll just stop recording for a second. Sorry, so what I've done is I've made this chronology of documents here. And
right.
The document I want to show you is the 10th of April 2013 calculations for this is a 23-page document.
Right.
And if I could try and scroll it to the bottom of that. I'm not sure if this zooms. No, it's not very good on scrolling. But that document anyway shows you, I think, 181 countries. Okay. And that's just because this is the $1 quintillion here.
Right.
And if you go further down, it breaks down the 78, you know, actually on this one, it's showing 4.7. Sorry, it's not working today. But there are documents on that chronology that you can download. And I have put that link up on your chats, that where people can get these documents regarding, you know, which countries, how many population, allocation per every person above 17 and under 17. But this was 2013 and they need to be updated because populations have changed.
Right. Okay, thank you for that. So with regards to the breakdown, my understanding is the 1 quintillion is in gold and platinum. Have I got that right?
There's much more than 1 quintillion in assets. So assets are gold, platinum, silver, diamonds. But we're only tapping into I think they're called exhibits A and B. A, I think, is the 70 billion kilograms of precious metals, and B is the 8 billion kilograms of gold. But it really doesn't matter because you see the total wealth of the planet is 450 trillion in fiat. That's what they're running the whole planet with. And Swissindo's distributing 2,222 times that in gold, in assets. Wow. So the problem wasn't that they tricked us and they inflated it and there's much more fiat than gold. It's actually the other way around. There's actually much more assets than they've given us in fiat. That's the crime. That's the financial slavery system. Because this planet belonged to us and we always were meant to live in prosperity, and that gold loan was meant to take care of us and they didn't.
So do you know exactly, I know we spoke about Saint Germain. So how did Saint Germain come about this gold, this money, this wealth that they want to give to everyone on planet Earth?
Well, you see, I don't believe it's anything to do with Saint Germain, because unless he lived on this planet, if he's always been up there, then there were gods that actually lived here, and there would be like Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, and they did have gold. They did believe in wearing gold, and they knew that having gold on your body was some kind of it's an actual courage frequency. And the removal of the gold caused the Dark Age to manifest, because they moved the gold around. This is, you know, we're talking about thousands of years ago. So there was a secret to the amount of gold on the planet and our divinity, you see, and Satan knew that. So they had to get us into enslavement, into the Dark Age, and there was something to do with the stealing of gold. So they had to put it somewhere safe where it couldn't be stolen, and we were always meant to benefit from it. Children were always meant to be properly educated, properly fed, properly housed, and they never were. So the crime that's been committed by the Federal Reserve Board, the Federal Reserve Bank, and the Federal Reserve, the Act, you know, is and then you have the Greada Treaty, 1954. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but there was a lot of satanic treaties. There was an Orion Treaty that siphoned off our prosperity into the underground bases to steal our DNA.
Wow. So I saw a video where you said they've actually been stealing the money, and apparently they've only got, what is it, 400, what did you say,
450 trillion.
Right. So that's all we got left of the gold, or have we? I think I saw a video as well with Mr. Sino, where Mr. Sino was saying that he had already given the money to all the banks that were supposed to distribute the money to us.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that these transfers are made. They were made for the G8 summit in 2013. It went to Commerce Bank. I don't know how much it was. Then there was an amount in 2016, which was 10 quadrillion, went from Laos to IRS Minnesota. Then Mr. Sino just mentioned the 9,900 trillion, which is 9.9 quadrillion, that he's gone to the Hong Kong Monetary Authority in China. And that is waiting. If we don't get any joy from the World Bank Group and the US Marshal, then Mr. Sino will go ahead and do it through some kind of cryptocurrency too route.
Is Mr. Sino still under house arrest, or is he no longer under house arrest?
He wasn't ever under house arrest. I say that he was under house arrest because the security guard who was his guard in prison has come out and literally visits him every day at his home.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't allow him to have a laptop, mobile phone. His seals are still stolen. So it is technically, you know, a house arrest because he's not allowed to do anything with Swissindo. And this is not this is not by law. This is extrajudicial. This is outside of law. This is criminal. This is criminal theft of $1 quintillion. And what they've been doing over the years is that they've targeted one person. So previous to Mr. Sino, there was another guardian of the gold called Mr. Antonio Santiago Martin. So before him was Marcos, and before that was Mr. Sukarno, who was made the king of Indonesia, as in the first president of the United Nations and the first president of the Republic of Indonesia. And that's when then there's something to do with the League of Nations, and there's something to do with the transfer of the League of Nations to the United Nations, and then the headquarters of the United Nations going to New York. So there was some kind of lots of manipulations going on with the lives of these people, with the intention of never giving this gold to us. The problem is there was a deadline, because that gold loan was 70-year loan from the 17th of August 1945 to the 17th of August 2015.
Right.
And the G8 Summit 2013 and all those calculations were in preparation for us getting that, actually receiving it in our accounts, and the government's actually honoring it. But and I knew that Swissindo, when I heard about Swissindo, and I knew that it was not just the glue, it was gold as well. And I had a document, because I was one of the UK delegates for Swissindo for 6 years now. And when they put Mr. Sino in prison in November 2018 up to August 2020, everyone ran away. Everyone went quiet, because they said, if you use the word Swissindo, basically we will put you in prison.
Really?
Yeah, you can't use that. We couldn't use that word. And Mr. Sino has been told not to use that word. And I knew that that's not right, because he is the great president of the United Nations, and he is the guardian authorized by King Sukarno, since King Sukarno was put under house arrest. When JFK signed the Green-Hilton Agreement in 1963, 8 days later, they shot him dead to stop us mandating the gold, and they put Mr. Sukarno under house arrest.
Wow.
And they did, and I knew that the Nesara was exactly the same pattern. In 2000, they had gunpoint to Bill Clinton to...
Oh, so that story is true. The gunpoint to Bill Clinton's head is true.
Well, that's what I read on the channeled messages. I'm taking it all on board, because it's logical, it makes sense, I can see it's crystal clear, it's true. And then obviously they brought in this other name for Nesara as National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act, which was a fraudulent name for it.
Right.
So
they've covered up the Swissindo with the Nesara Gesara name. You see, when I started my channel, and I started with the Nesara Gesara thing, I sat on this for such a long time, right? And when your spirit is pushing you to do something and you're not listening, right? I started a channel with some other thing that I was interested in, was looking at, moving to other countries, okay? But this subject, because I'd seen this subject, I kept being pushed. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? My intuition kept pushing me.
Yep.
You need to cover this. Yeah. Where this would have ended up, okay, I had no idea. All I knew is that I was being given information to push this subject, okay, even though people kept telling me this is a scam, this is a lie. And then it was one of my subscribers that brought your channel to my attention. Her name is Emma Robinson, and I thank her for that, actually. So yeah, I didn't realize they were covering up the actual Swissindo with that name, Nesara Gesara. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not saying that Swissindo is the fake Nesara, which is the National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act, because there was White Dove. Do you remember Shiny? She was a White Dove. She brought Nesara out first on Nesara.
Yeah, this just popped up. Like what I seek in life, Neelu, what I seek in life is truth. And because my question is always to bring truth to me, right, as you say, your angels bring truth to you.
Yeah.
I feel that my God brings me the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is it's the same concept of our divinity, our prosperity, this lone gold, doesn't matter what you call it. We were meant to be having more money than we can spend. We're meant to live like gods, all of us. We are gods.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't want to get into the technicalities of how they cheated us and how they stole our money. The point is we haven't got it yet. And we're still spiraling down to Walking Dead. We're living in hell. This planet is a hell hole at the moment, and they always had the option to press that button to bring us back to divinity. In 24 hours we can be in divinity. At the moment we're slaves in poverty, and they're cherry picking us, you know, and they think it's fun to actually feed off children, babies, women, you know, other people's toils. They love to just steal things. So it's so it does. Nesara law is the same as Swissindo law, is the same as Gesara law. Is, you know, because Swissindo is international law, and Nesara and Gesara together make the Swissindo law, but they don't come with the gold. Swissindo is the gold as well as the law to give it out. And you've got the calculations, you've got President Obama was due to make the announcement. You had Pentagon telling him, make the announcement. Then you had the bankers. Ben Bernanke was bullied by the banks. If you make the announcement, you'll get the sack. Obama was told you get sacked if you make the announcement. So that we knew that the banks were running the governments. The banks were running America. Right. But there are no governments. There are no governments around the world.
Yes, I know. So they're all called corporate fictions. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So my final question is, how do I remember you saying in one of the videos we need to take certain documents to the bank in order for them to give us the money. Is that still the case?
So I'll just go to the actual document. So what I did, I actually drafted a document. This document, if I can open it. No, okay. I'll go down here, see if I can open it. So this was like a final offer to the world leaders. So I drafted this document, and what it was telling the leaders that it's still here, you know, and we want to know how many people over 17 and under 17 in your countries. And you get this transaction fee, and it's going to happen on the 14th of June, which was 6 years anniversary of that original document. And these were all the payments 1 to 11 there, some of them anyway. And Mr. Sino went ahead and signed it. And he wrote by hand, Big Daddy Lady First P1.PKC-NKRI. That's the Republic of Indonesia. And with this document also, I had the other document on this at the same time was this claim form. So in India, 4,000 of these got filled out within like a week.
Right. And okay.
This is similar to the old Swissindo document, and it just needs your social security number and your bank details and your name and country. And Mr. Sino again wrote those annotations at the bottom. And then on the 11th of June, I decided to draft this document, not knowing if Mr. Sino would sign it, and he signed it. This is the document why you don't need to fill out any forms, is that it says, I hereby settle all claims for Swissindo payments 1 to 11 made by each of 7.6 billion people in 253 countries. And then it goes on and on, asking for diplomatic status for the delegations and protection for everybody who supports Swissindo because they've been threatened. So Mr. Sino signed that, and I put the authorization code here so that Mr. Sino didn't need to, handwrite it. So I edited it and I corrected that error of mine. So this is the thing about the, the ASBLP 0333902, and we see that code on another document, which is this is the actual most important document in the world ever, which is the international law document. So in 2010, the code is actually here, ASBLP 0333902 2010. It's very bad copy, but all we have is this. I don't know how I got this even, because they tampered with it and they defaced it. They changed the seals at the top and the bottom. But you can see the Ban Ki-moon has signed it for the United Nations, International Court of Justice, International Monetary Fund, International Finance Corporation, Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II, Ben Bernanke, World Bank Group, International Criminal Court, Bank of International Settlements, Finance Action Task Force, Vatican, and US Department of Treasury. Now, these are not small. These are the top financial organizations of the world. And this was to do with Mr. Sino taking over from King ASM, as in Antonio Santiago Martin here.
Right.
Within 30 days. And Mr. Sino signed it to accept that kind of certification. And also that if he made any offers, there was a mandate to accept it within 30 days. So this is the actual law document, and it says top secretly held in the, here it says 14th of June 2010, top secretly held in the UN headquarters, New York. So Mr. Sino has gone, just like Sukarno went and signed with JFK, Mr. Sino's gone and signed with these other financial organizations. So we're just like waiting and waiting and waiting for this money. And my interview with Mr. Sino was that I did confirm with him that we have actually opened all the accounts for which he is the controller, which are the 884 accounts, which I don't know if you want me to show you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
The documents here you can download. So we've got the top two documents. So the 2007 is the one with the committee of 300 signatures, and you've got the 14th of June 2010. No, sorry, the 2012 infinite statement, that one 884 accounts, you can download those. And what South Africa Swissindo supporters have done is they've used the 2007 to say, our country leader signs that, all the country leaders signed it, and it's visible who signed it.
Right.
So Tony Blair signed it for the UK, and His Excellency Stephen Timms signed it as, I think, Finance Minister. And then the UK ambassador for the United Nations would have signed it as well, right?
Right.
So that's why you can't argue. It's so much documentation with Swissindo that, and you've got the actual law document, which you don't have on Nesara, Gesara. We don't have it. It's all secret.
No, we just got a list of stuff on Nesara.
Yeah.
We just have a list of stuff that's supposed to be either free, free technology or technology to heal people that's supposed to be freed or released. Then we have, all debts being wiped out. And I saw that as part of Swissindo as well, where it was 150,000 per adult to be wiped out and 150,000 per corporation, I believe. Have I got that correct? Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
it's $300,000 per adult. So out of which 150,000 would be private loans, and 150,000 would be corporate loans. Excuse me. And if you're a
okay, so private loans would mean what? And corporate loans would mean what?
So a mortgage would be a corporate loan, whereas if you owe money to a family member, you'd use that one. If you borrowed money off a family member privately, you know, from friends.
Oh, right. So they pay that off as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
But it has to
because
be...
that's not what people were saying about Nesara, Gesara. They were saying anything that is what we call personal loans borrowed from family or friends wasn't paid off.
Well, Swissindo is very generous, very, very generous. I mean,
yeah.
It's $2 billion per corporation paid off. And Mr. Sino is one of these people who thinks in trillions. He doesn't talk about anything. Not interested in billions and millions. You know, he's only doing 10 quadrillion. I mean, the total economy of the world is 450 trillion. That's like Mr. Sino's giving 138.99 trillion to the, you know, to the countries. So if you do go on my, you know, Facebook page, which is MC Neo, if you type in facebook.com/groups/MCNEO, it will take you there, and I should have on it the, you know, there's a link there with all the countries and how much wealth they have allocated from that 450 trillion. It's actually 418 trillion, but I thought, you know, just to be sure, I'll go be generous. And America's got about 124 trillion wealth, whereas India has got 12 trillion wealth, which is ridiculous, really.
Is that in gold or in fiat?
Fiat. This is all fiat. There's a lot. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Shockingly low.
Very low in comparison to what you're actually saying that we're being offered. Okay, so going back, so there's nothing for us to sign and bring to the banks. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying don't do, you know, I'm saying this is your money. This money has now been opened by Mr. Sina for the 14th of June this year. And you can do whatever you want to get your payments 1 to 11, because you've got that document. You can print it. And because the people in South Africa, they printed the relevant pages of the 2007 bank accounts for Mr. Sino is a controller of those 884 accounts. Now, all those countries that have his accounts, that he's a controller, are saying they don't know anything about it. They're saying, you know, Swissindo is a crime, is a fraud. If anyone comes to you giving you money, report them to the police. Reporting someone to the police for giving you money, you know, Indian Reserve Bank of India doing that, treating it as a crime.
Right. Okay, so
you have to take your own risks, basically.
You're doing it at your own risk.
Yeah.
So, okay, so in order for us to get this money released so no one gets in trouble, how many signatures on the petition do you think we'll actually need in order to get the type of movement that we need these banking system to actually start listening?
So imagine there's a war going on. So you've got the slavery system with the humanity and poverty system. Then you've got the banks, the slave master system, the corporate structure system, running the governments and the leaders. So, you know, it's come to a point now where we can't take it anymore. We can't live like this. We can't have hell on earth, right? And they think they're going to have this power forever and ever and ever and ever, and it's going to go on and on until we all die. So we were meant to die by the 21st of December 2012, and we're here. We're still here. The underground bases got pulverized in 2011, 12, and 13 because the angels came and they took them out. They took all these experiments out. Right. So we've made psychologically we're not going to lose. We've got to win. We're going to win. And you know, the petition is just another way of saying we're not having this. So we had a petition on the White House last year, 14,000 signatures about Swissindo, and then they stopped allowing petitions on the White House. We the people.
Really?
Stopped it. These are lethal. Petitions are lethal because it's a legal process. A public interest petition is like the real democracy. These countries are not democracies.
Yeah.
So that petition definitely is.
So how many signatures? I mean, we currently we're walking closely to 1,500 signatures. I think the last time I looked, it was 1,380 something signatures. So how many signatures do you think we need realistically in order to let these people start listening?
So
to us?
like under common law, you're allowed. They say that 12 signatures will do it.
12.
12 signatures from the UK should do it, shouldn't it? Because you're like your peers under common law. You should be able to get 12 people to sign some document, and then they say deal with it. But the UK Parliament petition website refused to put our petition on, and I filed a complaint why they're not letting this go on. And honestly, they're terrified of people finding out, and they pay a lot of money to people to put Swissindo, to discredit it and to scare people off it, and it works. The internet is full of disinformation about
it's not now. As I said to you, 80% of my subscribers are American.
Yeah.
Right. So most of the people signing that petition, since I found it, which was about a week or so ago, when I asked my subscribers to sign it, you'll find that the majority of the people signing that petition is actually American.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So I'm very, very grateful for the subscribers that I have. They have been sharing it, from my understanding, on places like Reddit, Telegram, and so forth.
Yeah, because my signatures were stuck at about, 500. And then within a week or so, it's gone up to 1,200 or 1,300.
Yeah, I saw it at 503. When I found it was at 503. So, I've asked my subscribers to push it as much as they can. And I am really thankful to God that, my subscribers, the majority of them are from America. And I'm like, how did that happen? But I'm so blessed, So that sort of helps to sort of push it more worldwide and not just keep it here in the UK.
Yeah, definitely. No, we really love it. Like, I've actually found someone, a female, in London.
Yeah.
Like someone who can take the bull by the horns in London, and it's not just me by myself. And I've got loads of other kind of supporters of Swissindo, but they've all, Lee Kant, you'll see, is very there.
Mm-hmm.
Penny Arnold was one of the delegates. She's always there. She does a lot of background kind of praying and stuff. She goes to do her, she's got pendulum and she does stuff. So she's very positive about Swissindo happening. Yeah,
me too. I meditate a lot.
Oh, wow. You're going to make it happen, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
I think you are. I think you will. Or your guys in America, we desperately
enough
need
is enough.
We desperately
enough of the lies, enough is enough, right?
Yeah, us women, we've had enough, especially the brotherhoods. The slavery system is very bad towards women, very, very bad.
And we're the mothers of this planet.
We are indeed. I call them Durgas. Have you seen Durga? That's about.
Well, Neelu, it's been fabulous talking to you today.
Oh,
and thank you so much for responding to me, and thank you for pushing my channel. I've seen it. I'm like, this woman, she's fantastic. You're pushing my channel on Facebook. You're pushing my channel everywhere.
Wow, you know, to actually hear the logic that comes out of your mouth, you know, it's like I'm listening to myself, and I was like, wow. It's like very divinely guided. You can tell, because it all makes sense. Everything you say makes sense. People are listening to you like, she's a goddess. You know that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, dear me. Oh, thank you. Anyway, Neelu, it's been fantastic. Let's please keep in contact, and keep updated on what's going on, and what else we need to do to help you to move forward with this.
Yeah, when I say 12 signatures, I mean in every country, so 12 times 253. But I can tell that USA's covered.
Yeah, they're very much covered. What we need them to do now is push it to their family and friends in other countries.
Yeah, and it's also educational. It's an educational tool to sign the petition when you've looked at the paperwork, and it shows that your name will go down in history, because change.org allows you to download the list of postcodes and names. Yeah. So it's a kind of a monumental moment in humanity. We're already in the golden age, and we're in, like, we can't go back now. We're 9 years into the golden age. Is it 9 years? Yeah. And we're winning, right? We're still here. That's the main thing. Is we're still here, and nothing can stop us. And it's just a matter of our patience and letting these guys do it honorably, rather than us having to do it any other way. We just give them time to, when they throw in the towel and run off to the hills,
which they will be doing very soon. Neelu, could you please show us the website that people go to download all the documents? Could you point out which website? Because there's quite a few. So if you just point out which one it is that they can go and download these documents.
So I don't know if it's showing on the top left, swissindo.webs.com. Is that the rest showing? No, it's not showing. Okay.
No, I can't see that.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I can put it in the underneath the blurb when I put this on my YouTube.
Okay, great. That's great.
I'll put everything in the list there about the chronology and the links and everything. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Neelu, thank you. It's been it's been very educational.
Well, it's been fine, actually, Navelette. It's been divinely guided, this moment, and I was waiting for something to spark the people, and I think this might be it. Because there's a big following for Nesara, Gesara, and now the Swissindo link with the actual gold and the actual documentation. We have so much documentation. It's totally unrebuttable, and they know they're in serious trouble. The banks are in serious trouble. The country's leaders and the finance ministers and the ambassadors for the United Nations are in serious trouble over this. But when people find out, they're going to, the banks, obviously, we're going to have to comply, and the governments are going to have to comply. Otherwise, the leaders will be removed by military force. The multinational committal military of Indonesia is already on its way to being marching orders to the embassies in Jakarta, get the ambassadors to make the announcements, especially the American ambassador in Jakarta, because the gold is in Jakarta, is managed from Jakarta. It could be a few days, it could be a few weeks, but it's definitely due soon, within a month, I would say.
That's great. All right, Neelu. Have a blessed rest of your day.
Yeah, and thank you all, members for their signature. Really grateful, and keep it up.
Yes, we're very, very grateful, guys.
Thank you.
Loves, lot of love.
I love you.
All right, darling.
All right, see ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.